welcome back to the Parenting Show. We now take you straight to our segment, Baby Hacks. Enjoy. Welcome to Parenting 101. This is where we get to discuss all the best tips that helps us in raising our babies. Today I'm joined by an amazing lady who runs an organization that cares for children living with autism. Welcome. Hi, good to have you. Thank you for sticking around with us. My name is Juliet and this is Parenting 101. And today we have an amazing lady, a lady who fell in love with kids who live with autism, and she will be telling us more about these children, what really motivated her into this kind of service to other people. So Pooja, kindly introduce yourself to our viewer.
Thank you for the introduction, Juliet. So my name is Pooja Panessa. I'm a board-certified behavior analyst and also the director of Kaisora Center for Neurodevelopmental Therapies in Kenya and Kaisora Child Developmental Center in Tanzania.
Wow. And I was going through your profile and I saw you started abroad, then came to Kenya. All of a sudden you fell in love with these children. Tell us how the organization started and what really pushed you to start such kind of an organization, because I know not many people would have such kind of a heart to serve such children.
So I actually I'm born and brought up in Kenya. I'm Kenyan. And I just traveled overseas to study. So it was during my studies that I first worked with children with autism. It was very rewarding because they made improvements and, some of the when I came back to Kenya, I was actually just looking for any work, as you do when you move after education and all that. And it was a parent who approached me after seeing my CV and said, "Hey, you've worked with people with autism. Can you please help my son?" So she brought in a table and 2 chairs, and I started working with her son in a small room. So from there, he showed a lot of improvement. He started communicating. And one, word of mouth, it started spreading. So in 2009, I started an organization, Kaisora. That built over the years. So I ended up hiring more staff, we got more kids. Then we had demand for full-time program. So at that point, I was only doing ABA, Applied Behavior Analysis, on a consulting basis. So after the demand, I got some more training. We made sure that if children are going to be with us full day, we didn't want it to be another babysitting center. We wanted to ensure that we're providing meaningful intervention. So that built as well. Then in 2019, I was also outsourcing services. And one of the services was speech therapy. So I spent a lot of time with speech therapist, Brooke Jadida. And I was always very impressed with the way she was working with children, the commitment. And one day we got talking and we're like, parents are coming to us, to Kaisora, for ABA and special education. Then they're paying you for speech therapy. Then they have to go somewhere else for occupational therapy. Why don't we make sure that they can get everything under one roof? Because we're wasting the child's time. They're traveling from here to there, and it's not productive for the child. And it works out to be very expensive. In 2019, we went into a merger, and now where we are providing a whole range of services for the children. There's applied behavior analysis, there is speech therapy, occupational therapy, physiotherapy, vocational training, special education, and counseling. So we also support the parents with through training and what they can do at home. We do a lot of staff training. So it's just one thing led to another, and we are where we are because of what the parents wanted for their children. That's how we grew.
And how many children are you serving at the moment at the center?
During the pandemic or on a normal basis?
On a normal basis.
On a normal basis, we have over 30 clients, 35 clients. But again, as I mentioned, they're not all there at the same time. Some come just for the therapies that they need. Some are there full time. So it completely depends. Everything is individualized. The child is receiving one-on-one intervention if they need food, they're receiving. So everything is completely individualized to the needs of the child.
Okay, and when it comes to medication, I also know they require special kind of medication, maybe the medicine they need to use now and then. And maybe someone out there might be wondering, where do I get these medicines? Where are they maybe sold at an affordable price? Maybe you can also give us an advice on that.
So autism spectrum disorder it's a complicated disorder, and it can come along with other disorders. So it can have comorbidity. So if there is a child with autism who also has epilepsy, for example, they would require medication for the epilepsy. If they have other issues, those might require medication. Autism on its own does not require any medication. It requires intervention. Therapy is what is needed, so that you're looking at skill deficits and skill excesses. What is the child required to learn skills that they might not have? And what are the excesses? So maybe behavioral difficulties that they're having that need to be. And a lot of that can be done through therapy. If a child with autism is showing severe aggression, then maybe a medication could be taken into account after therapy has been tried to reduce aggression. So some of those symptoms may be treated with medication if they have reached an extreme and therapy has not proven as effective. But the first form of intervention for individuals with autism is therapy. Speech therapy, applied behavior analysis, occupational therapy. Those are the most effective. Special education. Those are things that children need to improve.
And maybe we're talking about therapy. Maybe you can shed more light on some simple exercises or kind of therapy that a parent back at home can do to help maybe assist their children.
Absolutely. Some of the basic advice we give parents during our trainings are: one, teach them how to follow instructions. I always recommend a lot of reinforcement, so a lot of positive reward, positive praises. Give a lot of attention to things that you want the child to do and what they are doing well. So when they do respond to you, they look at you, they're playing with you, those are things you want to encourage, so you can give them a lot of attention. Rather than punishing unwanted behavior, which doesn't always have positive outcomes, it's more important to focus on what needs to be. You might think that they don't understand what you're saying, but they're actually taking a lot. Use simple language, talk to your child what is happening, what is expected of them. They take in a lot. And because they've taken a lot, I also say don't talk about your child in front of them, especially if you're talking negatively or things that they're struggling with. Make sure that you're always sensitive and positive about the children when they're around you, and you're making sure you're providing that healthy and positive atmosphere for them. Play with your child. Play with your child. Spend time with them. The more time you're actually playing with them and spending time with them, that is also a form of therapy. That is actually providing a lot of natural environment therapy that the children need all the time. So provide activities where possible. You don't need to have expensive equipment or anything for that. Even playing out in the dirt, getting sticks, writing on the ground, talking about things in the environment, naming the colors in the environment, those things are very good. And a lot of repetition is very good because they pick up those things. Sing with your child, sing a lot of songs with actions, play with them. And then also have a routine. Routine is very important because individuals with autism like predictability and repetition. So having a routine on a daily basis keeps it a lot easier and helps foster independence. So in terms of fostering independence, encourage them also to help out and to complete activities of daily living. So brushing their teeth, having their own shower, helping set the table, even cooking sometimes depending on their age. Make sure what you're doing is age appropriate and help them complete those activities themselves. The more they can do independently, the more you're empowering them. If you do it for them constantly, they're not going to learn through that. So those are some of the basic things that we usually go over through our trainings and how to do them in more detail. Obviously, time limited over here, but some basics.
For example, let's say a parent at home has a child with autism, and they have been taking good care of them, and at some point maybe something happens, and maybe it's now time to seek medical attention or the advice of a specialist. What are these signs or symptoms that a parent should look out for in case to know whether to call for attention of a specialist?
So autism has a few characters that, basically define it. One is communication. That's one of the most important. So if your child is not developing speech at a developmentally age-appropriate milestones, then you need to make sure that you seek advice. So by 9 to 12 months, they should be babbling. They should have started some words. By 2 years, they should be putting a couple of words together. So if you're not seeing speech development by that point, seek medical opinions, seek professional advice on what is going on and what needs to be done. If the other one is social interactions, so if they're not playing with other children, seeking other children, providing eye contact when you're talking to them, looking for those hugs and that intimacy with them, their parents and their siblings, that can also be a red flag, as well as stereotypical behaviors. So children who might be seeking sensory stimulation in terms of maybe flicking their hands in front of their eyes, rocking, lining things up consistently. Those are also some signs. So bear in mind that one of these is not enough for the diagnosis. A child could just have speech delay. They could just be playing in a new and innovative way. It could be different things, but you need to seek a professional's advice to understand, is it just normal development, or is this something that I should be concerned about? And early intervention is what has shown the most progress. Children who start with us even from the age of 2, we've seen tremendous results. Integration to mainstream school, following the education, so many different things we've been able to accomplish through early intervention. So when you see these signs, don't wait, look for help.
Okay, wow, that's so encouraging. And I know it has also not been easy running the organization. I know there are ups and downs, and somebody might be wondering what has kept you this strong all this time. Maybe you can share with us your motivation and what really keeps you going, and what really gives you this kind of a heart to keep serving day in, day out.
It's our clients. They're amazing. They're phenomenal people. We always underestimate them, and I learn from them every day. They all are unique. They have their own talents, and as they make progress and do something new that you've been working on for a while, it's very, very rewarding. Their parents, their families, being able to always get that feedback, my child wasn't able to do this, now they're doing this, they're communicating, they're going to the toilet independently, those kind of things. It gives us such joy and satisfaction to actually be able, you're not just changing this one life, you're changing a family's life. It's really, really special to be able to touch so many people in your life in such a special way. You end up creating so many bonds and you have a big family basically.
Yeah. Wow. And it's a blessing.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I also believe there are those moments when you feel like, oh no, this is not going well. Those challenging moments that you have encountered, maybe you can share with us.
Yeah, definitely. So awareness has been something, trying to create awareness in the community. So we usually have a lot of events to try and do that, because when I think people fear what they don't know, and that leads to a lot of stigma. So many individuals don't seek help for their child because they're hiding them, they're fearing that stigma. So creating awareness is one of the things that one of the challenges that we have faced. And then affordability. Finances are always an issue. We have to charge for our services because we're not receiving any other form of income rather than what the parents are, the clients are bringing in. But we started a foundation as well because of that. We're trying to reach out to those who cannot also afford services and try and look for funding to support them, because it's great. We're serving as many as we can. But there's many more out there who need to be served. Financially, we are not able to do that because we have to pay our therapists, we have to pay utilities, rent, everything to make sure that we sustain what we are doing. Finances has always been a big challenge. And the other thing is staff training. So it's difficult to find, especially in something like applied behavior analysis. There's no place locally where we can send individuals for training so that we can hire them. So we're always training. We're hiring, we're training, constantly training. It's amazing to see them grow, and professionally they become so good. But then we have staff turnover. Once they've been trained, then other organizations also want to take them because they know, hey, Kaisora has provided a good training for these individuals. We want to hire these people. So we have a bit of staff turnover when that happens. It's not that bad. We have a lot of programs to retain our staff as well. But that's something that some of the challenges that we do come across.
I know it's very important for such parents to have a very strong support system. And because I find that in most cases, when the support system is not there, that's why these parents tend to hide their children. Some even get into depression, and some even kill themselves. So what would you advise a parent in terms of their support system?
I would say education is power, knowledge is power. So a lot of the stigma comes from misconceptions and myths around developmental disorders. So depending on where you are and access to information, there's all kinds of myths and misconceptions out there. And being able to educate your family and everyone on what autism is. This is a developmental disorder. We need to seek therapies. They'll be able to see what progress looks like, and that changes perception about what it is, that it's not that somebody's being cursed or somebody's coming from a bad family or anything of the sort. This is a neurodevelopmental disorder that needs medical attention, it needs therapy. Education and knowledge is everything we need, a lot of what we need to beat that stigma.
Wow. And maybe as we come to an end, you can give us a word of advice maybe to parents there who are living with children with autism, just to encourage them, to give them hope. It's not the end of everything. All these children are a blessing to us all. So maybe you can give us a word of advice.
So definitely, I understand it's not easy when you're living with a child. You have a child with any kind of disorder, disability. It's not something, but it doesn't mean that it's inability. You need to find their talents, need to see what they're good at. Always look at the positive. There are times that things get tough. Seek help. Don't be alone. Nobody is alone in this. There are so many people who are in the same boat as you are. So seek advice, seek support groups, look for professional advice if needed, and keep learning as well. I still keep saying knowledge is power. Keep learning on ways you can help your child. reach out even to us at Kaisora. We're always happy to help in any way that we were able to. So always stay strong, keep a support system, and keep teaching your child. Good days are always there.
Wow, wow, true. Good days are always there, and at the end of the day, it takes God's grace to actually embrace everything that comes our way. So thank you so much. It was nice having you with us here. And for me, I can only wish you all the best in your organization, and keep doing what you're doing. As I said, not many people would have such a heart to serve others in a special way and to touch their hearts. So I just hope you keep doing what you're doing. And I'm going to give you this opportunity maybe to share with us where you are, where you're located, so that someone who would want to reach out can come directly to you.
Absolutely. So we're called Kaisora Center for Neurodevelopmental Therapies. We're located in Karen on 1 Kombe Road. You can find us on Facebook. You can reach us through our website, which is www.kaisora.com. You can email us on info@kaisora.com. And if you go to our website, you'll find our phone numbers. You can book appointments through there. Reach out to us, Facebook, website, email, phone call, in any way that you find convenient. We're also actually providing telehealth at this time during the pandemic. We're able to provide a lot of the therapies through telehealth with parent training as well as the other side. So some of the things that are helping during the pandemic as well.
Thank you so much again, and have a lovely day.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, guys, for tuning into the show. It has been an amazing kickoff, all the way from my story to the interview that we've had with Juliet. And Juliet, thank you for that amazing interview. I'm sure we've learned one or two things. And sadly, we have to say goodbye. I'll see you next week. We will see you next week, same time, same place. Connect with me on my social media handles, on Instagram at Chepchumba Cherus, on Facebook at Chepchumba Cherus, and on Twitter at Malin Cherus. See you next week, same time, same place. Bye.